Hi friends, Suzanne here. Welcome to another Monday Makes video on my YouTube channel and blog. For today's project, I'm featuring the Abstract Beauty products, and I am making 5 cards today because they were super simple and yet they're wow cards. They're beautiful, and I just wanted to share with you how you could make 5 simple cards using some of the products that are really affordable in the new catalog. So I didn't have the stamp sets that came with the suite here, so I used these 4 on the screen, Many Happenings, Threw It Together, Celebrating You, and Special Moments. They are either current or celebration items, and you could easily swap out your own sentiments. So these are the products that I used to make these 5 beautiful cards. Firstly, here is the Abstract Beauty Cards and Envelopes. Here is the Abstract Beauty 4x6 Specialty Designer Series paper, and this is the Abstract Beauty Ephemera pack. And then I'm just going to show you the envelopes really quick. So if you were a part of my paper share, this came as a free gift for those folks that bought the I Want It All selection. So I always like to support my customers who actually get some of these products and they might not know how to use them. So I'm happy to share some inspiration. And for those of you that are out of Canada, you just use these as inspiration. So these 4x6 papers are pretty cool. I liked both sides most of the time. So they have just simple designs on one side, and then they have foiled designs on the other. So they go very nicely with the card pack. You could use them as little extras, cut them up. Here is the ephemera pack that goes along with it. It really coordinates nicely, and it does have vellum gold embellishments, and I thought that was cool. And then now goes along with the suite, the adhesive backed hexagons. And there's 3 colors there. There's black, and I think that's just jade, and that might be petal pink. I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. But there you go. So these are the supplies that I'm going to be using, plus those stamp sets that I showed you. So this is the first card, really simple. These are 4x6. So what I did, cut this down to is 5 1/4. And I used a basic white card base, and then Miss Molly here decided to help me, and she was suggesting what adhesive I should use because she's the adhesive inspector. And so I did use this paper, and I am using just regular glue. And what I notice sometimes when I'm using thinner paper is that, and this is kind of a thinner paper, it's not cardstock, is that the lines of glue kind of showed up after things were dried, and I didn't like that. So I started smoothing the glue line out with the bottom part of the glue. So if you see me do that a couple of times, that's what I'm doing. You're probably like, what is going on? I'm not putting on extra glue. I'm just smoothing the glue line out. So I use Magenta Madness for this sentiment, and it says, being awesome is just your thing. So I thought that was a nice sentiment. And then I used the glue here, wet glue to, this is one of the ephemera squares. So I'm just adhering that to my basic white that I stamped on. And again, this is just in proportion. I couldn't tell you, actually I can tell you what the size is. I will get my ruler out and tell you straight away. I used 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. So that was my basic white size. And now I took the really pretty heart because I'm kind of in the Valentine's mood. So hearts are in right now. I used that little heart, and then I had a little bit of white twine left over, maybe from a paper pumpkin or something. So I just tied a little bow on that flag, and then put a dimensional behind it. And then right where the hole is, there's like, it's almost like a little gold circle. And I actually kept that gold circle, and I'm just going to adhere it to that little flag just for a little bit of an extra embellishment. And then I adhered the adhesive backed hexagons because that pink really works. I used 3 of them kind of on the bottom. And that is my first card utilizing the Abstract Beauty products, sweet products, but not the stamp set. The stamp set I used is the Heart and Heartfelt. All right, here we're moving on to card number 2. And I am again destroying one of the envelopes. I do this a lot in my paper pumpkin cards. And what I ended up doing was I made, again, it's just a, what is it, 4 by 5 1/4 sized card front. And I will adhere that to a, I think this is Magenta Madness. So here's a little tip for you. I know beginners might not know this, but if you score the page once and then you cut once, you're saving yourself some work. So always score and then cut, and then you have 2 perfectly ready to go card bases. I know a lot of us seasoned stampers know that, but you know, if there's somebody watching that is new, that might be something. So I did have 1 inch of basic black card, and I cut it straight down the middle, and I made a 1/2 inch, and then I cut the other one by in half, so I had 1/4 inch strips. So I'm using Stays On Black ink because I love it when it's I stamp with red rubber. It gives me a beautiful crisp black image. And here I am smoothing my glue out again. And then I'm going to adhere this to the card front. And then I will actually, because the paper, the 4x6 Abstract Beauty paper, Specialty Designer Series paper, is a bit thin, I'm actually going to back that with just an extra piece of white card base. So, and I am adhering my black pieces down first because they go next. And I was going to put the 1/2 inch or the 1/4 inch above and below, but I liked it better when the bottom was weighted a little bit more. There's the rule of thirds when it applies to card design that is actually more appealing to the eye. So I did want to put the black strips on the bottom third, and then my card front goes straight in the middle, and I will measure that. The card front basic white is 4 1/8 by 2 7/8, and my little piece of Designer Series paper is 4 by 2 3/4 inches. So, and then, so I do this all the time. I will just glue it and then I'll cut it down to size. So I use my trimmer a lot. I often cut it out of the videos because, you know how to cut stuff. Okay, so I'm putting dimensional adhesive on the back of this card front. I'm placing the card front on the front of my card. I guess this is your art piece. So I'm just measuring, I use 3 dimensionals on the back of this sentiment piece. And I put that over top of the black strips. So basically it's the black lines are just sort of flanking, and that black or neutral pulls in the sentiment as well. And the reason why I put that black strip there is because I didn't like the hexagon lines. It was taking away from the design. So I covered up the middle part of those hexagon lines. And then I just put some glue down and I adhered these are like vellum stars, and it went so perfectly with this design that I don't need much else. This is my Magenta Madness marker, and I started off with the felt tip end, but it was too big. So I went with the pen end, and I just colored in the word birthday, and not too carefully, I might add. I think I could have done a better job, but I was sort of coloring over top of dimensionals, and I probably should have thought about doing this before I adhered it to the card, but it came to me at the end. And I'm glad I did that because it does add a little bit more zing, and it pulls the card base color, which is Magenta Madness, to the front again. So it's definitely a pink card. Even though there's black involved and gold and a whole bunch of other colors, I wanted the feeling to be generally pink. All right, and again, the Celebrating You stamp set was for this card. Like I said, I did not have have not purchased the stamp set that comes with this suite. You can find it on page 49 of the January-June mini catalog. It is called Hello Beautiful, and there's also beautiful shape dies as well. All right, here I am with this blue/green card base from the Abstract Beauty cards and envelopes. I cut that down to 5.5 5.25 by 4. This is a little stripy bit of Abstract Beauty Specialty Designer Series paper. I just cut a little 1/2 inch. This is also some Abstract Beauty Designer Series paper. I just cut a circle out of it using my circle dies. If you had a punch, you could use a punch. And if you don't have a die cutting machine or a punch, you can just take and trace a circle using something that's circular in your house, bottle or bottle cap or something like that, and just cut with your scissors. And now I've put that on dimensionals, and I used the Stays on Black again I used Memento Tuxedo Black ink for this one. It says many congratulations, or big congratulations, sorry. And I'm just measuring that. I glued the stripy bit and the sentiment together, and here is my strip of dimensional adhesive, and I'm putting that directly on the circle, trying to make it as straight as possible, but I do want to lean it over to one side. So I cut off the excess, and then I'm going to put dots of glue on the sentiment and the card and the circle, and you can see those hearts. They are from the ephemera pack, and I'm just going to adhere them to the card. And then I'm going to use my Wink of Stella. I don't know if you have your Wink of Stella, but I love it. And I think it adds, especially simple cards like this, it adds just an extra something. It completes the card for me. So I made little dots and I smacked it on its lid so that it gave me a little bit more sparkles throughout. And that is card number 3. The stamp set I used there was Special Moments. All right, here we go with card number 4. This is probably the simplest card in the bunch. This is an envelope from the Abstract Beauty cards and envelopes. I used my Excalibur letter opener sword that I purchased for just this particular reason, ripping apart envelopes. I got it on Amazon. I don't know if they sell them anymore, but I sure lucked out. There was a couple of cool swords that you could choose from. And I don't know about you, but I am certainly a sword fan. Every sword that I've ever heard about, like, you know, lightsabers and Game of Thrones and King Arthur. Oh my gosh, all the swords, they're just so great. So, all right, so I glued the envelope paper right directly to my white card base, covering every inch of that white card base. The sentiment says, sending you this paper hug, which is super cute. And I am using that word bubble that is in the ephemera pack. And then I just, again, that rule of thirds, I'm sort of top third there. And then I fussy cut some hearts out, and I know some of you hate fussy cutting, and that's okay. You could use a stamp that actually has a heart on it. Maybe you could use the gold embossing powder for that if you wanted. That would work. Or you can omit it all together and just stamp some hearts, which I like the gold foil though, or the gold vellum. So here I am just folding that card up. Again, these are simple designs. They're not supposed to be too hard, just something that you could whip together. And again, that's what Monday videos are all about, easy cards. So again, my Wink of Stella, I don't leave home without it. I've actually polished my nails with this and put a clear coat over top, and it's lovely. Just saying. Hashtag love Wink of Stella. Okay, so I used the Through It Together stamp set for that card, and you saw what I did with the Wink of Stella. I just colored the bright pink balloons, or circles. They could be balloons if you drew like a whole bunch of tails on it. That would be another card design idea. All right, this is the last and final card. I'm not sure. I love them all, to be honest. I think these last two are my favorite. Hey, while you're watching, please shoot me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you like, 1 through 5. Okay, so here is the back card base. So like what I cut in half of last time. It's the back half of that card. And I am just using it to sturdy up the Abstract Beauty Specialty Designer Series paper here. And of course I had to do this plaid, or as I was told, it's called plaid, not plaid, but I'm not in Scotland, so I'm going to say plaid and not confuse everybody. I'm just trimming off the excess here, and there is just a little bit of excess. I could have used my trimmer, but my scissors were closer, and I trimmed off the excess here. So this is going to make a card front for me, but I'm going to trim down that next card so it looks like a painterly look here, a watercolor bit. And basically I have taken just the edges off. Now I'm putting adhesive on the bottom half, bottom third, I should say, of my plaid piece. Or it could be gingham even, right? It could be gingham. And I'm going to put it on a slight angle. So I'm adhering it down. You can see that there's some edges left over. I'm going to cut off the excess there. And I mean, it's so much easier. I just use my big long scissors. If you don't have big long scissors, you could use your trimmer. That works too. There's no rules in paper crafting. Now, when I do this, it has an unsightly seam, so I always like to cover it up with ribbon. This is the soft succulent ribbon. I think it goes with the, what's it called? I can't remember. Here it is. Symbols of Fortune suite. I want everything in that suite. I don't know about you. Which reminds me, if you have a list of products that you want out of this new catalog, it's probably best just for you to join, become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And that way you get $165 worth of product for $135, plus you get 2 stamp sets extra while it's celebration. So hey, if you're thinking about joining, please consider me as your team leader. I absolutely love my team. They make my Stampin' journey worthwhile, that's for sure. All right, so you saw what I did there. I put the Stampin' Seal Plus just to cover the unsightly seam. I'm being sparingly on my Seal Plus because I'm an over abuser of that stuff, and I'm running out slowly. So I have to get my stash full again. Next order. There's always a next order for me. All right, so I'm putting that card front on dimensionals, and here is the stamp set and dies. They're called Many Happenings, and usually I stamp this with my Stamparatus, and then I cut it out so I have a whole bunch of sentiments just ready to go. So this is the one I chose, Love and Hugs. I put the bow down with glue dots, and now I'm just fussing around with these leaves that come with the ephemera pack. So I did like the leaves, and it needed something, so I wanted to tuck those little leaves right in there, kind of make it look like a flower. And then I used the adhesive back hexagons, and I put Wink of Stella on the green plaid as a final little extra. And I guess you can see all the supplies I used today listed below in the video's See More section or in the supplies section of my blog. And I take time to create those fast links so that you can go right to my Canadian online store. You can create a wish list if you want. You could, or you can purchase the items straight away. And of course, I would love the chance to meet you and earn your business. So thank you so much for watching this very long Monday video. I hope you had enjoyed. Again, tell me which one you loved the best. And I'll say goodbye for now.